So Chunky's little brother came in here, and before he got worked on by you, he was very shy, kind of standoffish, and didn't really interact with strangers. But after a few sessions, apparently he was a lot more outgoing, talking to people on the streets he'd never talked to before. What did you do to him to make him like this way?
Yeah, Corey describes Nico as he didn't want to talk to anybody. He didn't feel safe. He kept to himself. Didn't want to have anything to do with strangers. He had that reserved, like I don't feel safe type attitude and emotion and presentation. That's not our natural state. Anxiety is not our natural state. Anger isn't our natural state. Panic attack is not natural. Fear is not our natural state. It is something that we should be able to access as appropriate, but that is not where we should be living. And that's where I want to make the distinction. It's a gear we can go into, but you definitely don't want to stay there. You don't want to get stuck in that. So once I recognized that pattern, I didn't know that about him before I worked with him, but once I worked with him, I saw what patterns showed up with his physiology, and the pattern that he showed up with was fear and dishonored. I'm using my thumb because that's where the sacrum and tailbone tucks under. That's the physiology of feeling wronged and victimized and submissive. So if you have a submissive, feel like you're going to be done dirty pattern with fear on top of it, that's a horrible existence. Those people typically retreat from society, retreat from any interaction with things that are unknown because they don't feel safe. Mm. So once I was aware of that pattern and worked with that pattern, I think it was maybe 4 or 5 sessions with him over the course of a weekend, tops. That's when I got feedback that he was downstairs talking with people who he didn't know. He became much more outgoing. He was much more confident. He just wasn't in that fear state anymore. And let me tell you, if you want to see a person just transform, in my opinion, it's that I didn't give him something he didn't have. It's that I got rid of all that stuff that didn't serve him or helped him shift gears so he was in more of his ideals or more of his natural state.
That's good. It's cool.
And some people you need to see a lot, and other people not so much, just a handful of sessions, and it's just transformative for them.
And I bet, do kids like cooperate more since they're young and they have that young energy, or does it just depend on the person?
I would say it depends on the person. Typically someone who's a teenager or younger, they need less sessions. But I can tell you, I've had people come in here in their 80s and 90s that I worked with 2 or 3 times that was absolutely transformative and liberating, and the person was different from that moment on. I would say it has more to do with the readiness. Do they want it? Are they ready for it? And are they at a point of life where they're like, they want to move forward?
It's like the open-mindedness comes into play.
It's open-mindedness, but has a different flavor because it's like their natural rhythm. They're like, I'm ready. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like there's people that say, yeah, I want to work out. It'd be a good thing, but they're not ready, right? But when they say, hey, you know what? I'm ready. I want this. I'm going to do it. They're on their way to the gym. They're going to sign up. They're going to pay for a year in advance. That energy is totally different than someone who says, I'd like to work out. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot of shape.
It's like the doers versus the what-ifers.
Yeah, there's the wishers and the doers. When that rhythm comes up where that person's ready to do something about it, those people seem to do extremely well. If someone comes in here and they're kind of shopping, well, I don't know. They're wasting their time and they're wasting my time. Okay. Not to say that the change can't happen, because it can still happen, but
it's a slower process.
What I've noticed is the more people want the change and are willing to take the action steps, then they follow my recommendations and they do the work that I share with them to do on their own, so they get those benefits. If someone's kind of into it, kind of not, that rhythm typically doesn't follow through with what coach shares with them to do. And I see myself more as a coach than a doctor. And obviously the results are going to be on par with the person following through.